So I had this client come to see me about making a bangle to fit him, and the bangle he wanted was going to hold some ashes from his son. His son died suddenly. At the same time when his son died, he got a tattoo done to remind him of his son. Incorporated this into the design. I thought, well, you've got quite a lot of the design already there. His son was right into the surfing, so that's why you got the surfboard shape, and it is Wish You Were Here from Pink Floyd. So we've got those letters together, and then we've got this beautiful Māori design with a bird in it and wave patterns. What I've done is I've taken that design, drawn up this drawing to show him what I was thinking of and how we could make it work. So it's incorporating sterling silver and palladium and yellow gold, 18 karat yellow gold into the Wish You Were Here and also the eye of the bird. So I've taken my drawing, worked out sort of how much wax I need, and so you can put it on here and sort of see both ways as to how it's going to work. So as you're working the wax, again, you've just got to visualize what you want to achieve. Just take away everything you don't need, so you can just slowly work it away. Because I work in a similar way in metal, but it can just take ages and ages to file off that much metal. Whereas with the wax, I can get quite close to the shape I'm after quite quickly. So this is the part that'll open and close, and then when it's closed, you've got that same shape that I'm looking for at the top. Right, so now I am carving out the pieces that are going to be in other metals. So we've got the castings back, and here they are. So pretty excited to finally see it in actual metal after working with it in wax for so long. This is what's left of my wax that I spent all that time on. On the inside there is another piece of metal that goes right around here. Yep. And that's going to be in silver. Once you've got a piece on the inside here, that triangular style structure will actually be quite strong. Yeah, be quite rigid. What I've done so far is go over it with a finer file. So while I'm waiting for the rest of the metal to arrive, I thought I'd make the inside pieces that are going to go around the inside of here. This is what we call a mandrel, which is steel tube. It's the shape of a bangle mandrel. So this one's oval, so it's got that oval shape. And that gives me a template to cut out of silver to fit on the inside. So I'm going to solder them, which solder is it's still silver, it's just been alloyed in a different way so it melts faster than the rest of the silver. So when you're making something, especially if you're going to have multiple joins in it, use the highest possible temperature. That way when you're doing other joints on the piece, that joint won't move. So this is the very first solder joint I'm doing on it, so I really need this to be whip hard. Right, so the next bit is to solder that together, solder that piece on the back of there. Needed the hole in it first because as you're soldering, the gases need to escape, and if they can't escape, it can actually, it gets really hard to get your final join to close. So while it's in two pieces, two main pieces like this, I'm pretty much moving from one to the other while the other's in the pickle or having to wait for something. So I've got to make the hinge first. Normally what you do is you file the hinge completely in, so it's almost invisible when it's finished. But I'm going to actually leave the hinge quite exposed on this, so it'll give it that more sort of engineered look to it, but also it's going to make it stronger because there's a lot more metal around it. So it's going to fit into there. So the idea of leaving it together, I'll saw out the other piece after it's soldered in, and that way it'll make sure it's perfectly straight. This I had to mark it all out sort of freehand, so but because I wanted it to match up either side and be even, I sort of pulled out the old tech drawing skills and did a line through the centre and then just used the dividers to work out those points. The piece took me probably approximately 6 months to make. It was an extremely involved piece because obviously so many new experiences with trying to make it over that time. So it took a great deal of time to finish. I'm never entirely happy with my work. My favourite saying is, artist never finishes his work, he only abandons it. And that's why I need to have things like deadlines and times to finish things, because I will keep working on them to try and make them perfect forever. So I have to basically leave it alone after a certain period of time. The big difference with handmade jewellery is that you are touching and feeling it as you're making it, so you know it's going to be a comfortable, easy piece to wear because you've done that work. It's really forefront of my mind what this piece is about while I'm working on it, which I'm sure it will affect the way it is actually made in the end. So technically it was a challenging piece, but more so emotionally, because I've had to deal with depression my whole life, and as this piece is the result of a suicide victim, it really brought home to me how much that really impacts on the lives of those around them. So it was a very draining experience, but also uplifting to actually give something back to, you know, my own dealing with depression over my whole life. And so being able to work on this piece for the father of this victim was just really rewarding, and I really enjoyed the whole process because it just helped me deal with some of those emotional issues that I had within myself about the problem of suicide in our community. We have a real problem with suicide in our community, and the more we talk about it, the more we express it, the more that young people hopefully will be able to deal with it and obviously not make that choice. About a year later, we designed a little pendant for Kate, which based again on that surfboard shape with the "Wish You Were Here" letters, and that was her brother, so it was really nice to be able to do that as well.